My name is Moon Petrie, and I failed in public. So it was early last summer when I first started publicly querying here on my channel. I had vlogged some of the lead up to that, what I was doing to prepare. I actually put in a vlog the moment I hit send on my first query. And I queried the book that I wrote first. You know, obviously I'd written other things, but when I was much younger, or that I never completed, or stuff like that. So this is my first finished and revised and beta read and polished over and over actual manuscript. And I was really fond of it, but I had spent a ton of time on it, and I had written other stuff since that I was also excited about. And so I wasn't feeling as attached to the outcome as I would have felt if I had queried it sooner, when I hadn't worked on other projects, finished and revised other books. And so I felt like I had a really healthy attitude, and I was going to be totally fine and not get my hopes up. And I've done pretty well with that. I sent 36 queries. Now, I talked about wanting to just continually query until I was ready to query the next thing, in which case I would still be querying, sending out batches of 6, and some people send out one as they get a rejection or whatever. I would generally wait until I got 3, and then the other 3 would often just not respond at all, or not for a couple of months or whatever. So I would send out another batch of 6 every 4 weeks, approximately. So I stopped querying some months ago. I stopped sending out new queries, and it was not the plan, and it needed to be the plan. So it turns out that 36 queries, 1 full request from somebody who hadn't seen anything but the query. So essentially the request was not based on the pages. And as soon as I saw the pages, I got the rejection the next day. So I knew it wasn't working, and I had revised and totally rewritten that first chapter too many times. I couldn't see it clearly anymore. I'd gotten feedback from more than a dozen betas for sure on this, and I just couldn't totally reimagine it. I'm better, as I have said multiple times, at fixing what's there than at completely overhauling and making big sweeping changes. And so I felt like it was time to stop. I also realized that querying takes time and energy. I have this window of an hour, maybe 2, on the days that my baby actually naps, frequently punctuated by hissing up the stairs to my kids who are in separate rooms for quiet time, to actually be quiet. And so I don't have a ton of focus, or it's after 8:30 at night, everybody is asleep and I'm exhausted. So I have this really limited amount of time. And so it would take at least 2 days to get out a batch of 6 queries, sometimes more. And then the energy of wondering and checking and whatever. So I wanted to put that time and energy toward another project. Now, I had this book, Undoing, that I was planning on querying next. And so I was working on that for a while, but then I got really excited about Glow. I'm really excited about Glow, and I wanted to put the time into that book. So I'm skipping Undoing. I will save that, and we'll probably revise it one more time. And if I am unsuccessful querying Glow, I have Undoing, and I also have 2 other books that I've written that are slightly longer, and so it's more intimidating in the revision process. But I've made a ton of progress with Glow. I wrote it April, May, June. Took my time with it, not as fast a drafting process, considering it's like 52,000 words. And I sent it to 5 betas and got their feedback, and I worked on that revision. Before I sent it to anyone, I did do a first pass revision, making sure there weren't any major, logic errors or continuity problems, and I had kind of rushed the ending. So I did significantly rework the ending. Then I sent it to these 5 betas. I got their feedback. I kind of pushed the ending too far in the other direction. So I worked on that revision for a bit, and I sent it to another beta who really challenges me. And so I knew that I would get a lot that I could work on from him. And I did that. And I finished that on Sunday night. So just a few days ago, I finished that, which I'm calling draft 4. So first draft, just drafted. Second draft, just me cleaning it up. Third draft with feedback from 5 betas. The fourth draft, this one particularly good critic who apologizes sometimes, like, oh, I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm like, be harsh, thank you, that's why I asked you. So I finished that. I'm too close, and so I'm taking a couple of days finishing up some beta reading that I am doing for someone, and I have a query that has gotten some feedback that was positive. I have a synopsis that I just wrote and left alone, so I need to check on that. And then I'm gonna do a read through, clean up any last things, and I am gonna start querying again. So I feel like the 2 main questions here are, how do I feel about how the process went, and how do I feel about having done it so publicly? The fact that I am talking already about what I'm gonna be doing next means I am okay with having failed publicly. I am lucky to have a small channel, I guess, so I don't have people just jumping on here to say mean things. Thank goodness. So I'm in a quiet, small, polite corner of AuthorTube where people are super supportive. So that really helps. I also have been really grateful for and inspired by AuthorTube friends who have also failed during the querying process, particularly with their first effort at querying. And so Barrett, Lori, Lindsay Puckett, looking at you, I am really glad that I got to see that before I went through it. And so I hope somebody sees this and feels okay taking the risk and maybe failing. And so yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it in front of the camera and in front of AuthorTube, and I am also glad that this is a nice, small, polite place. So how do I feel about the failure? I feel okay. I feel okay about it. Am I gonna long-term be like sentimental about this book? That was my book baby that didn't go anywhere. And I really am not at all sure that it'll ever go anywhere. Even if I get an agent who's interested in my YA fantasy, I don't know that this is gonna be, particularly salvageable. Will I pillage its corpse for the gems that it may contain? Quite possibly. But I'm so hopeful about other things that really takes the sting out for me. here's the issue. I'm so hopeful about Glow. It's really good. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than the first book that I queried. It's a lot better than some of the other things I've written since the first book, not since Glow. And I want it to succeed. I want that more this time than I did when I said I was just practice querying and I wasn't going to get my hopes up. My hopes are up. So if it doesn't get me representation, I am going to be a lot more devastated this time, and I will try to be forthcoming about that if it happens. That said, I really am gonna again make the goal of just querying continually. I'm not gonna stop at 36. I think this is worth it. But I also hope it won't even take 36. Like, I'm actually hopeful. My cat scoffs at my hopefulness. So yeah, here I am. I'm poised on the brink again and doing it right here for everyone to see again, and feeling like I'm taking a bigger risk this time. I feel like Glow is a book that would be helpful for people. Like, the other stuff I've written is fun, but it was just fun. And this matters. And so that gives me higher hope that somebody will say, hey, you know, this is a book that matters and I want to see if I can get it out into the world. But yeah, just increasing the personal stakes. So that's where I am at, and I will be vlogging as I hit send on that next query, and it won't be long. So until next time, I am Moon Petrie, and take the risk. It's safe. It's okay to fail publicly. People will be kind to you. I hope. Be kind in the comments, please.